And we're live here on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, MySpace. Stick to the Skrip. Yet another episode here in 2024. We've been cooking. We've been cooking a little bit. The last two episodes I feel like have been really, really good. Tane and I, if you missed that episode by chance, last week we talked about Project X parties from back in the day. We also talked about things men can't do according to women and other men. You know, it was a real episode. It was a real episode. So Tane, we had some technical issues with you, but it sounds like everything's good right now. What's good? What's good?
Everything's good. Got a lot of positive feedback, from the last episode. I think it was the one that people enjoyed. So that was cool.
Absolutely. And we have a special guest on here for a segment of the show. So I talked to Gianna, and, we've spoken before and talked about generational differences. So I figured we bring Gianna in here for a special segment that we'll get into in a second. But Gianna, before we kick off anything you'd like to say to start off this podcast?
Yeah. I would just like to say that, Anthony, you're a bitch. That's it.
Ooh, let's kick it off from there.
I'm sticking to the script.
So Gianna's an adult now officially, so I think it's okay for her to be on this podcast. And I figured she was an adult because not super long ago, a few months ago, I was in the garage arguing with Anthony and Maddie, his wife, and here comes Gianna, like, Stone Cold Steve Austin music comes on. She bursts through the fucking door, and she just has in her back pocket every swear word she can think of, and she just saying them to me. Some of them don't even make sense, and Gianna's just like, this word, this word, this word. It's like a little kid found out for the first time that they can say a bad word, and that's what Gianna did. She was trying to cook, and she was stepping towards me in this altercation, just yelling all these bad. She had nothing to do with this conversation either. She has zero to do with it. But here comes Gianna just throwing left and right hooks, and I don't know. I wasn't scared or anything, but I was just confused. So I figured from that moment on, Gianna was an adult and she could be on this podcast here. So Tane, any thoughts? Have you ever been cooked like that from your younger sister or no?
No, not yet. Ayani, she isn't there yet. She's definitely creeping in that direction. I mean, hopefully it doesn't get too crazy. I might have to put her down. Gianna, man, you just had too much apple juice that day, or what was going on? Too much fruit punch? You had a little extra sugar in your system? You wanted to talk crazy?
I don't know. I just need to throw it all at Nick. He was pissing me off.
You just let him have it?
Yeah, she did. It was it's the most intense I've ever seen Gianna in her entire life. It was her big moment to come and fucking roast me. But
hey, were you a little scared of me though?
Was I scared of you? Nah,
just a little bit,
I'm limited. What am I supposed to do when you're leaning over me saying stuff to me? What am I gonna do? Push you or something like that? I'm not gonna roast you. You got nothing to do with the conversation or anything like that. But yeah, that was interesting.
So,
all right, so oh, go ahead.
That was the first time you used swear words?
No, just
probably the first time she used 37 swear words in the same sentence for no reason. Okay. They didn't even make sense.
Got you. I just wanted to make sure we were on the same page.
She was like, yeah, you fucking little bitch ass shit. And I'm like, what? All right. So the first segment of this podcast, I wanted to talk about generational differences. Gianna was in high school not long ago. I coach high school. So I'm interacting with these kids that speak differently. There's different slang, there's different ways of doing things and saying things. So I figured that, hey, let's bring on somebody and ask us if me and you, Tane, we graduated back in 2010, not to give away our age and everything, but 2010, let's have somebody come on the podcast and talk about or give us some words or phrases and see if we know what she's even talking about. So how I want this to operate, Gianna's going to say the word, and if we need it in a sentence, we'll ask that, but I'll let you go first, Tane. I'll go afterwards. Sound good?
Okay, let's do it.
Let's get it. So Gianna, cook us off with the first word.
All right, first word is trifling.
Trifling.
That's like they've been saying that since like the fucking 70s, the 60s or something.
So what was it?
That's
What
a
does
very
that mean?
that's slang. Y'all see that now?
Trifling. So what is
That's just like
mean? What does that mean to you?
So trifling. That's like messy. Like you're messy or childish, or you're doing something that's just like, you know, I guess it's just something that's kind of just silly to do, unmature. I suppose.
Okay. All right.
It's a bunch of different things.
Put in a sentence.
That girl over there, she's trifling.
That's too basic, though.
Dude, like I don't know what you want me to say. Like, that's just how.
Yeah. No. She is. That.
So she's like you'd say what? She's like all over the place. She hang on, let me try to phrase this in the right way. She's just a mess, right? Is that what we're saying? Like she's just like
basically.
A wreck? All right, Gianna, are we on point here or what?
That whole trifling.
Yeah, I'd say you guys are right. Yeah.
Okay. See, I can now use this in my real life. I can say, you know, if I had I can't. Nah. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna say anything like that. All right. We'll move on to the next one. I had two examples, and both of them in my head. They're like, don't. I had like the devil and like, yeah, say that shit. And the angel was like, no, don't say it. All right, so go to the next one.
Teed.
Ooh.
I feel like we might instantly need a sentence here because this is like, what do you think, Tainer? You want to give it a shot?
Turned up. I'm teed up. Yeah. Turned up. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, I feel like I should. Yeah. I feel like if you said I'm teed up, I would have known that.
For sure. Teed could be anything.
Right. Teed though, so you wouldn't say, Gianna, you wouldn't say I'm teed up. I'm just.
Yeah, I
teed.
mean, I guess I could have worded it like that, but.
Does anybody ever just say I'm teed?
I feel like they just I feel like they just shorten things up. Like everything younger, it just gets shorter. That's it. Like I text my sister sometimes, and it's like, you know, I know some people say TY for thank you. She's using, you know, just different acronyms for stuff. I feel like it doesn't even need an acronym. I don't know.
Interesting. So the next time, I think I gave up drinking until the baby comes. I think I did. I gave it up in January though, and I drank like 30 times. So I think I gave it up. But the next time I drink, hopefully not this like weekend or something, I think I can like use that now when I'm with my friends. Right? I'm teed.
You could definitely, you could use it. You gotta stay young and hip.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm trying. I could have wore like a polo on this podcast and slicked over my hair, but I was like, I'm gonna whip out the tattoos and a backwards fucking hat. Like I'm not 30s, you know. All right, what's the next one?
What else you guys got?
Fiend.
Is that what you said? Is that when you're like craving something? Like I'm fiending like Gianna's like this big vapor, like she does all the vape tricks and shit now. Yeah, Gianna like sits on top of a couch. She squats down and she just like blows O's and she can like spell her name and stuff with her vape. She's like a certified vapor now.
Wow.
I caught her. And you know what I did, Tane? You know what I did? I caught a vape in her car. I'm 32. I ran in the house and I was like, Mom. I told her.
Good. I'm glad.
I told her. And I told my dad.
That's not a good habit, G. You leave that vape alone. Okay.
Hey, you still vaping?
I have a vape every now and then. I gotta be pretty drunk though. But you know, I'll puff a vape every now and then. I'm not proud of it. Okay. I'm not proud of it. Gianna, you just got out of your Huggies. You should not put the vape down. Okay.
Gianna like woke up at her 18th birthday and just looked in the mirror and she's like, I'm a vapor now, and just started like puffing smoke. She's
tattoos, vape, staying out late.
Well, she shows me this video. She's at a party too, right? Like, oh, I'm at a party, and she's like, I'm hitting the vape at the party, like on a video and stuff, and I'm like, okay, like
just never
that's
happened.
what you. Yeah, I think it happened once or twice.
Oh, you were blowing O's.
So the chat, the
doing
chat,
all the tricks.
Here's some of the comments in the chat. Leave the vape in 2023. That is wild. Bro, in all caps. Huggies.
Damn.
There we go. I mean, damn. Like the chat's not about it. I think you should. Man. I think honestly, what I think needs to happen with Gianna is we bring her to my parents one day, and me, you, Anthony, Maddie, some of Gianna's friends, like the kids, just random people from the neighborhoods and stuff. We just sit in a circle and we just talk to Gianna and have an intervention about this vape shit because we've had enough.
Yeah, you've been getting this off for too long. Okay, you got to be stopped. You're out of control.
My family had an intervention with me like I don't know, like 7 or 8 years ago. Like I had a massive intervention. I'm not kidding at all. I was sat down. Anthony picked me up because I was walking down the side of the road early in the morning, probably. and I get taken home, and they're like, sit down on the cooler. I was sitting down on the cooler. I'm like mad because some shit went down the night before with like multiple people, and I was the cause of it. And everybody's just roasting me going in. I'm just like, so that needs to be Gianna. Yeah. All right, what it's getting out of hand, Gianna. That's what the chat said. What's the next one?
Addie.
Oh my God. Tane, I mean, I think Cyrus upstairs knows this, and he's 3 years old. The address, send me the Addy.
Yeah.
Drop the Addy.
Drop the low. The Addy. That's it.
That's a good tough guy phrase on the internet. You know, if somebody says something spicy, you say drop the Addy. But then if they do, you're like, shit, I gotta go get my ass beat.
I don't want this dude to know where I live.
Yeah. It's like everybody's a tough guy until the address actually is sent, and you're like, oh God, no, I was gonna come, but I gotta drop my kid off at daycare, and it's not gonna work out. Addy. Okay, Gianna, how many more do you got on this?
I got a few more.
All right, no, I'm not in a rush. Go ahead.
Someone just said one in the comments. Abby Kemp said, "Why they frying?" What does that mean?
What do you think, Tane? I think I know what this means.
It's roasting, cracking jokes. Right? Yeah, that's all it is. That's all it is. You know, we gotta
go ahead.
We gotta mess with Gianna. Gotta mess with.
I think that like the younger generation thinks that like we don't know this stuff. I think that we might be beyond. We know their stuff and we know our own stuff. So
for sure. We're not. I mean, we're not. You know, I could see if we were in like our mid to late 40s or something, early 30s. Man, we still know what's going on. For the most part, I don't know. You guys got some though that are pretty crazy.
Here's another one in the chat here. From Jack. Do glazing. Yo. So that's different than frying. Glazing. Yeah, is that glazing. Is it taking a step further? Like you're not just frying them, you're like destroying them. Is that what that is or no?
What is glazing?
What do you think, Tane?
I don't know. I don't want to know what that is. What is it?
Shit. It's kind of like dick riding someone. You're glazing
them. Yeah. Look, I knew it had something to do with some meat. I knew it had something to do with somebody's meat, and I wanted to stay away from that one. I didn't want any parts of that one. That shit sounds crazy.
I'm not trying to talk about no meat on the show. Not today.
No,
today.
No, we're trying to monetize. You know, you got to keep it light.
Yeah. All right. What's the next one? Glazing sounds. Look at, we got Thor in the chat too. Everybody's in the chat now. Let's fucking go. All right, go ahead. What's the next one?
Nice.
Bop.
What?
Bop.
That Tane, you know this one.
It's a dance. I mean, I know it's a dance that people.
I think I know it.
I mean, it should originated in Chicago. I mean, I'm assuming it's the dance, but I don't know. I don't know. Is it different?
I'm pretty sure it's see, I'm close and I feel like I have like the path, but like it goes in like all these different directions. Don't you say that about like a chick? Like that's would you is it someone that's like kind of slutty or something? Or is it like boom? Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. I know this shit. I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
I'm surprised you knew that.
I know a lot of things. What I think Tay might have froze here. What's the
Oh
next
no,
one?
I'm here. Sorry.
Oh my God. Oh, you literally, I'm looking at the camera. You did not move 1 inch. Did you think it was frozen, Gianna?
Yeah, I swear to God, you just said,
Bro, you did not even you did not breathe. I was about to call Kelsey and be like, get him, he's not breathing.
I don't think I was breathing. I really don't think I was breathing at all. That was accurate. I was tripping for a second. I was just
Abby said in the chat, let's start naming bops. All right. I'll start it off. No. All right. What's the next one?
what about 8?
What?
8.
8. Okay. I mean, usually I feel like that's when somebody, I don't know, like did something dope. Like I don't know, like if somebody, you killed it. If somebody did some dope dance move or something like that, I'd be like, okay, he ate that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, yeah. See, man, we know this shit, Nick. We got this.
I feel like a lot of this has been level easy. Like if you're on the PlayStation or something, you got to choose a difficulty. Too easy for us.
All right. What about
we outside?
What about
with no coats on either? With no coats on.
All right. What about? Let's see. What about it's giving?
It's giving. All right, go ahead.
So I'm pretty sure. Yeah, the girls came up with that. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just another way to describe something else, I guess. So, yeah, I mean, if somebody had like a nice hairdo or something along those lines, I mean, you could say, I don't know, you could say it's giving Halle Berry. You have to describe it with something else. Something, I don't know. That's I'm pretty sure that's how that works. If I'm not mistaken.
I forgot we could put the comments on the screen. I've been just reading them, but Gianna the Pod says, Kevin, we outside. That's what we just said with no jackets on too.
Yeah.
Eating this up. Absolutely 4 + 4. I don't know. All right. Bet we're gonna put this stuff on the screen. It's giving. Is it like you're telling on yourself or something, or you're telling on? No.
What?
Was Tane right? Was Tane right about it?
What?
All right. This is my only one that I flopped on. I flopped on this one.
Yeah, we've been doing good, man. We've been doing good.
All right. What's the next one?
Do it for the plot.
You take one for the team.
Ooh, I'm slow. Yeah, yes, that's got to be it, right? Like, taking one for the team. I have a better story to tell. I don't know. Yeah, do it for the plot, right?
And shout out to Colton Goltz because he did it for the plot a lot back in the day of going out. Colton historically would do it for the plot. Didn't matter.
Makes sense.
Shout out to
Makes
Colton.
sense. Yeah.
Shout out to Colton. What else, Gianna?
Do you guys know what a 2-man is?
2-man?
Yeah.
Nah. that one's got me a little.
We gotta be. I feel like I gotta be careful with some of these.
Yeah. I thought about a couple things, but now I'm like, I'm about to say some sketchy stuff. I'm gonna keep
it safe. Is this wing manning?
No way.
I'm gonna keep it safe. This is like a wingman thing, right? Right? Okay. Me and my guy.
Oh my God. Oh, hang on a second. Anthony Fantasy Football. Hard to watch when Gianna's forehead takes up most of the screen. First of all, whoever this guy is in the comments, Gianna thinks a lot. She thinks a lot, and sometimes when she thinks a lot, her hair gets parted more and her forehead comes out a little bit, right, Gianna?
Bro, no.
That's not.
Bro, you're trifling right now.
Hey, but that's why Anthony's a bitch. Right? That's why Anthony's a bitch.
Damn, man. Damn, that's
Dude,
crazy.
leave him alone. Leave him alone.
That's my man. That's my man. Shout out to Anthony.
No, he's posting sad music on Instagram all the time. I don't know what's going on.
No, you can't do that.
What is two man?
Stop doing that. Stop doing that, Anthony.
I think I don't know what two man is because I'm thinking some weird stuff. So what is it?
It's like if me and my friend went on like we hung out with like someone of like the opposite gender. It's like 2-on-2. It's a 2-man. You know what I mean?
So okay,
it's a
cool.
2-man.
Cool.
So it's a double.
2-on-2.
It's a interesting. All right, you ain't going on no 2-mans though. Yeah, what are you talking about?
It's like double date. Like, you know, it's like you go out with your wingman, you know, something like that. You might be trying to talk to some girls, or you a couple of chicks. You might be trying to talk to some dudes. I don't know, you know, but that sounds about right.
Interesting. All right, Gianna, give us one more good one, and then we're gonna just pivot over to the next piece of this.
Let's see. Let me give you one more, and then let me give you an abbreviation.
All right.
Okay,
Let's run through these.
Cool.
Go ahead.
All right. A yacht.
Oh, that's when somebody. Hang on, I gotta be careful to say this. That's when somebody, like, you see it on TikTok all the time. Like, somebody might be a little like thick, and then they use that to, like, I don't know what the acronym is or whatever it is, but like anytime someone's like thick or like little busty or whatever, people in the comments on TikTok all the time will say that word, but I don't know what it exactly means. Do you, Tane?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. I'm pretty sure it's definitely when there's some cakes back there, something nice. Yeah, that's one of the ones from you guys that I like. I like
a
that
little
one.
thick.
How about a lot of thick?
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that's one of the ones. That's one of the ones that I like from this generation. That's a good one. That one's funny.
Gianna called me the B word. Yeah, she did at the beginning of the episode. I talked about how she called me every single swear word that she had. Gianna, can you let us know the correct way to phrase what you just said?
What do you mean? Like the word?
Yeah. Say what it is.
Like if someone walks past and you're like, yeah, like she's thick. She has like a fat ass, you know?
Okay, hey, chill. You saying it too spicy. Why you gotta say it so spicy? Chill out.
That's what
All right. Well, just chill.
That's gotta be a difficult one to describe to your older brother. So I get it.
Yeah, she's saying it too weird. All right. Do the last one, the accurate, whatever it is.
This is an abbreviation we use a lot. I think, Nick, I'm not sure if you say this word, you might. I don't know which way, but WTW. What does that stand for?
Come on, Nick, you got this.
Thor said Tane got that. He said Tane got that gat. Damn.
Gat.
WTW?
Yeah.
This is something I would say.
I don't know if you do say it or not, but you might.
I don't know, because what I was gonna say, I don't say anymore.
What's the word?
WTW.
What's the word?
Oh man, what the fuck, man? That's fucking easy.
Not Jack with the pause.
Pause. WTW.
With the pause.
All right. Gianna, because we got to pivot to the next part of the show. Any final closing words that you would like to give your peers in your audience? Maybe we'll retain some of these people for the next piece of it. The next piece of it, we're talking. This is Tane's topic, but Tane wanted to talk about first dates, so we're going to talk about that. But any closing comments, Gianna?
I just still want to say that Anthony will always be a bitch, and shout out my group chat, and shout out IBJI. That's it.
Okay.
Hey.
All right. And we do have a GoFundMe page to find Gianna different things to stop her from vaping. So thank you, Gianna. We'll send you those funds, and you will be off the vape soon. Thank you, Gianna.
Thanks.
The GoFundMe is hilarious. The GoFundMe is hilarious.
All right, I kicked her out of this. Let's go back to the. Oh, look at this new template, and we're back. Okay, Tane, I asked you. Let's talk about some stuff. A lot of things we can talk about. We're talking about first dates, which I thought was an interesting topic because This time of year, I was last year, I was single. Couple days from now, this time last year, I went on my last first date, we'll say my last first date. Me and Tess went on a date January like 28th, I believe. First date, and went well. We hung out nonstop from there. But first dates is an interesting topic because there's a lot of people. It's a new year. People are starting to date again. People are trying to get back into the scene. Maybe they just had a breakup. Maybe they haven't been dating for a while. Maybe they are in college. Maybe they, just moved. There's a lot of different reasons that a lot of people might be hitting up that first date. So let's talk about first date etiquette, how to approach it, whatever. You kick off the conversation with however you want to start things. We'll just piggyback it.
Yeah, I think it's always a good conversation to have. I mean, whenever either if you're fresh out of a relationship or if you're starting to get into the dating world, as a young adult, it's definitely going to be interesting to try to, it's interesting because it's always new territory. And you got to try to figure out how to navigate that. I mean, at the end of the day, it all really depends on the person that you're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to go to places that, social places. You might want to go out to a bar. You might want to go to a club, meet a nice chick, ask her out, get the digits, as some of the kids would say. Send out a text message, see what's going on, and depending on the person that you're dealing with, I think that should kind of determine where you go for your first day. So I felt like with this, you kind of want to have an idea of where to go, right? In these scenarios, what's too much money to spend? What are some of the restaurants that are acceptable first date places? So yeah, I think that's always an interesting conversation to have.
Yeah, I think so too. I think you got to weigh out too, like what kind of first date is it? Because it could be multiple different types of first dates. Maybe it's somebody you met at a bar and it's the first time you get to hang out and speak to them. You want to be casual. Maybe it's a first date, but you're not sure if you're going to take it serious or if you're just like casually having dates. Maybe you're like casually dating like a bunch of people and it's just whatever. Or it could be the case where, you've been texting somebody for a while, you've been maybe on the phone, and then now you're going to have that first date. And I think that kind of determines sometimes like where you're going to go. What, kind of money you're looking to spend, what kind of setting is it, how it's going to be. Because I think, you can have a first date at a nice restaurant. You can have a first date at a coffee shop. You can have a first date at a bar. I mean, there's a lot of different routes you can go. But I think like you kind of said, kind of got to figure out what the situation is a little bit.
You got to figure out what the vibe is. Absolutely. You gotta figure out what the vibe is. You don't want to overstretch yourself. You know what I'm saying? Don't portray this lifestyle that you're not really living. Like, don't set the expectation too high, I would say, depending on who you're dealing with. Like, if you're meet a woman, you gotta make sure that you're staying in your lane. Don't try to do too much, because you could be setting false expectations within your relationship, and that's not good. If you take this chick out to eat and you're taking her to like, RPM steak, if you're taking her to fucking Nobu downtown and you guys
don't even know these fucking places.
Yeah, if they're expensive spots, like if you're taking her out to get Japanese seafood on the first date and you ain't got Japanese seafood money, then don't set that expectation from the rip. You have to go to places that are a little more casual. You got to go to spots that are chill, that are within your budget, and with somebody that understands that. If she's expecting catch steak on the first date for you guys, steak and crab legs and lobster, you might want to take a step back and be like, okay, is this actually something that I want to pursue?
Doing too much, probably. I mean, I feel like if it is your first date, you don't need to do anything like where you're both uncomfortable. I mean, if you're going to go on a first date to go to this big steakhouse and have a sit down, and you got to figure out, do I dress up? Do I not? And it's kind of awkward. It's kind of like too much, and it's, a little bit of pressure there. I think you're doing too much. I think that could be your second or third date. Probably like your third date. Your third date. Third date, then you take them there. But I'm saying, if it's that first date, I think you just want to get to know this person and know, hey, exactly. Do I even think this is going to go anywhere? Is it going to go anywhere in a relationship? Are we going to just go somewhere as something casual, whatever? But I think it should be a very casual place. That's why you see a lot of coffee dates, or let's meet up for a beer, or let's get even lunch. Let's just get lunch, something light and nothing crazy. But I think that's important. What's some mistakes you think people make on that first date? What's one that comes to mind?
I would say taking a person to a place that doesn't have good atmosphere. If you're going to a spot, you probably are not going to want to take a girl to a concert or, a movie theater. You could probably do dinner in the movie, but spots like that where you're limiting conversation between you and the person that you're trying to court is not good.
Yeah.
You want to make sure that you want to make sure that the vibe is right, that you're in a place that has good atmosphere where you can actually hear what this other person is saying. You can engage in some good conversation, maybe have some good food, good drinks, and just keep it at that. I mean, there's so many places to where you could go to where, the day could go bad. You know what I mean? As a guy, right? If you're a dude and if you're not in the best shape, if you're a little scrawny or if you're a little too big, don't pick a physical activity. Don't take the girl rock climbing. Stay away from the rock climbing. Stay away from the trampoline, the jump
Sky
zones.
Zone. It's for kids, but you take her to Sky Zone, and now she's confused because she's jumping with kids, and she's like, I can barely talk to you right now because I have to do a backflip into the foam balls.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. You want to take her to a nice adult spot, somewhere chill, and a place where you could have some good conversation. And I was okay, and I got a question for you. So I was going to ask you, okay, what is the amount of money that you spend on a first date? Not you personally, but what do you feel like is acceptable? The first time you're meeting the chick, how much should you spend in that first night?
10% of your annual income. No. I think this kind of leads a little bit of a side point, but I think people get caught up in stuff like that. I think people want to impress people so badly,
absolutely.
Them to be like, wow, this was crazy that he did this. I think at the end of the day, you can bring somebody to one of those fancy places you named, but if you can't hold the conversation, if you're not interesting, if you don't have chemistry, that shit, it don't mean anything. So I'd say I'm very for if I was to give advice, I'm married. I'm just giving advice. If I were to give advice, I'd say again, something casual and something that after the date, if it went great, if it went poorly, that wide range that you wouldn't look back and be like, man, this kind of fucked me up for the week, man. This really hurt. This is going to hurt me, for paying bills this week, or this, I really shouldn't have spent that sort of money. I think you don't have to go that far. I think the number one thing at the end of the day on a first date is trying to get to know somebody and trying to figure out if you got a little bit of chemistry that you can build on that for the next one and then the next one. Otherwise, everything else is kind of secondary, because if you kick it off with somebody and you have a great conversation, tons of chemistry, you're both laughing, and you're at, a steakhouse, or you're at, I don't know, your local bar. I think at the end of the day, it depends on what happened,
Yeah, at an ice cream shop, you could take a good chick to wherever your chicken spot is, and whatever neck of the hood. You could take her out for some ice cream, wherever. As long as you're funny and you got good conversation and the chick is down to earth, then you should be able to get that off. You know,
Yeah.
you don't want a person that, you know, that obviously, look, now I'm not saying that women that are used to a certain lifestyle, you know, that are used to, you know, dining out at like, you know, they go to Roof's Chris every Saturday night. You know, if you're going to one of those fancier places on a regular basis, not to say that that's wrong. Obviously, if they're, you know, if that's what she likes, that's cool. But at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you're staying in your lane and that you're not building a relationship based off of a lifestyle that you can't continue to provide.
That you're not about. Yeah. I'm with you on that.
For me, I would probably say, you know, stay within budget, you know, get dinner, you know, go out for some drinks. If she's a real one in certain situations, not to say that this matters, obviously a dude, you know, if you go out, you're more than likely going to be wanting to pay for everything anyway. Sorry, I was reading that.
Not to cut you off. Yeah, Gianna left the room and she came back in saying, "I was the highlight of the live. All my fans telling me I need to be on here more." Gianna, you got cooked half the time, so I don't know what you're talking about. But thank you. And look, Abby, agree with me for real.
Definitely. You know, you should definitely add Gio on the podcast some more, just to get some more of that.
We'll see. She's got to come up with some stuff. But again, with the first date, again, you know, going back to this, me and him are not talking about like us. We're just talking about in general. We're playing Hitch right now. Like we're good. We're playing Hitch right now. No, another thing that comes to mind is I think people want to make that first impression. Like a lot of this we talked about, like where to go or like doing too much. I think people do too much in the conversation. I think people do too much in the conversation because I think a lot of people in that first date want to impress the other person so much that they nonstop are just talking about themselves. And like, I forgot what the dick riding, the term was that was used earlier.
What was it?
I forget what it is, but they do that to themselves, right?
Glazing.
Look, we're cool here. People glaze themselves like so often in those conversations that they're talking about. Hey, this is what I do there we go, glazing. This is what I do as a hobby. This is my job. I make this sort of money. This is what I like to do on the weekends. This is a fun fact about me. This is like whatever. They just go down the list and they're trying to impress people so much. I think on a first date, I think it's equally as impressive if you can like actively listen and then like respond and make them feel like they're kind of heard. You know, like make them feel like they're kind of heard.
Absolutely.
You know? So listen. I think that's important.
Absolutely. You gotta listen. You gotta make sure that the person that you're dealing with is comfortable. You know, making a person comfortable is what, you know, that's important. You know, you got to make a person laugh, you know, be practical, you know, don't be, you know, be practical, be uptight, you know, be willing to know the person. If you go out with somebody, nobody's ever going to like anybody and you go somewhere and you're consistently talking about yourself the entire time. You know, that if the conversation is that's in friendships, that's in anything. If the conversation is one-sided, I don't, you know, what am I here for? You know, I'm not here to listen. You know, like, so you definitely want to keep that in mind. You know, keep an open mind with whoever it is that you're trying to talk to. You know, if you're getting back into the field, be open. Don't be jaded to other things that you've experienced, you know, with other women. You know,
because that got nothing to do with this date. It has nothing to do with this date. So I think that's another thing. And you mentioned comfort levels before. I think a big thing is how you close it out too. Is like you got to read the room, and that's tough. And there's a good question: what's worse, from our guy Thor, talking up yourself or one upping? I think, man, I can see. You know what? I can see I think one upping a little bit. I like talking about yourself. You might just like be like. It might come off like if you're talking about yourself a lot that you just want that other person to get to know you a little bit. But if they're like, I just got a raise, and you're like, well, I got a huge raise, and they're like, well, you know, I donate to shelters on the weekends. You're like, oh yeah, well, I donate to 17 shelters on the. I mean, if everything's like they come in with something, you come back with a bigger thing. That's kind of a no.
No, one upping is definitely crazy. That's for sure. You can't. You nobody likes that person.
But back to the point though, you got to read the room, because I think a lot of those first dates go wrong because people misread the room in different ways.
Absolutely.
And it could be like where you think that day is heading. You could be reading the room the wrong way there. You'd be reading the room on how well it goes or how well it doesn't go, if they're feeling you, if you're not. Like, obviously, like, communicate and stuff, but like, I don't know. Like, I think back to Tessa, the first date Tess and I had, and I kind of I didn't read the room the best. Like, I'm not saying it was a great first date. But I didn't know how to read it. I didn't know how to read it. It was a great date. I didn't know how to read it. So when we left, I gave her like a hug. I probably could have done more. And she tells me that. Yeah. She tells me that later that night. She tells me later that night, like, I'm not saying anything crazy. Like, she's just saying, like, I could have kissed her. Yeah. I'm not saying she's not like, you could have, whatever. I'm not saying that.
That's common. That's common. That's common.
I know, but me and my, like, I'm like fucking like, stupid, and like I do over the top stuff all the time. She tells me that, and I'm like, all right, bet, I'm driving over, and I did, and that was cool. But you got to read the room. That's a big thing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I feel like with that's common. You want to be respectable, and you want to also try to keep keep a little spontaneity. You want to be spontaneous. Just try to keep it spicy a little bit, I think that's good advice for anybody out here in the dating field, trying to court anybody, man. Just be open to learning, man. Like, be open, and open to learning.
A big part of learning too is like trial and error. So if you're back in the dating scene, or you're testing out, it's a new year, whatever, you're going to go on first dates that fucking suck, right? You're going to go on first dates that suck. You're going to go on first dates that you thought it went amazing, and you get ghosted, right? I think a lot of it's just trial and error at the end of the day. You're going to strike out. You're going to think something went well and it went poorly. You're going to think something went poorly. They thought it went great. It's going to be all over the place. So I think at the end of the day, if you're back in that scene, you kind of got to have to understand, like, something goes bad, or it doesn't go as planned, or not the way you want it to. You just kind of, lace your shoes back up and get back after it. A lot of people kind of tap out after one bad experience and take time off because they're like, oh, this sucks, like, blah, blah, blah. So.
Yeah, it's definitely tough. But yeah, I mean, honestly, in a lot of those moments, you got to try to take a little bit of time for yourself too. But don't be afraid to get back out there.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. It's that time of year, at the beginning of the new year here. So, Tane, anything else that comes to mind? Could be with the slang words, could be with first dates, could be with anything else as we get closer to like the 45 mark here.
I don't have anything specific. I don't have anything specific off the top of my head. What did you think of the divisional rounds this weekend?
I think like my when I'm thinking about the games, I said this before, I think my brain says one thing and my heart says another. I think that I truly think the Ravens are the best team in the NFL right now, personally, just because they got an unbelievable defense. Lamar Jackson's a cheat code. I think that they're going to beat the Chiefs. And then we look at the Lions and the 49ers. I think that the 49ers are a better football team as a whole, because I think both offenses are good, but I think the 49ers defense is better than the Lions defense. So my brain says Ravens, 49ers, Super Bowl. My heart says Ravens. I love to see Lamar Jackson in a Super Bowl. Ravens, and I'd love to see the Lions in a Super Bowl. I think they're a fun team. It's in Detroit, which is in our division. I think they've been building. I love the comeback story for Jared Goff. I know Purdy's got his own story, but I'm a big Amon-Ra St. Brown fan, big Sam Laporta fan. I'd love to see Lions, Ravens, but I feel like it's going to be Ravens, 49ers. What do you think?
It's been very cool. It's been very cool. Patrick Mahomes, he ends up pulling it out again. The Chiefs always just find a way to win. Josh Allen, I was really ready for him to get over the hump this year. Or at least make it to the AFC Championship game, beat Mahomes, but they kind of shot themselves in the foot there at the end of the game. So, I mean, whatever. We'll see what happens with that. Obviously, I got the Ravens, taking it all the way this year. We'll see what happens. It's tough to bet against Mahomes. Detroit is playing well. The 49ers they have a crazy team. They're going to go as far as Brock Purdy takes them this weekend. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. I mean, with the NFL for right now.
One last thing, and then we gotta close this up. I shout out to Brittany Jansen. Asked a question back on dating, and then we're gonna close it up here. Thoughts on splitting the check? Thoughts on splitting the check on the first date?
No. I mean, like obviously, no. You can't really do that. So look. If you're in a situation to where you're going out as friends, then yeah, obviously you can split the check the same way that you split the check with your friends. But first of all, I think a lot of people go based off of whoever asks, like 9 times out of 10 times out of 10. The woman is not asking the guy like, hey, do you want to go out? I mean, I know that there are a lot of women these days that are very progressive and that they would ask that question, but majority of the time it's going to be the guy that asks the girl. If you ask somebody out to go out on a date, then you definitely got to pay. Now, would it be super dope if I pay for dinner and the chick is like, okay, cool. Like, since you got dinner, like, I'll go grab drinks. Like, let's go have a good time. Like that's cool. But at the end of the day, if you were the one that's offering like, oh, hey, let's do this, then let's do that, then you can't necessarily expect that person to pay. And that's just like, I don't know. I guess that's just a big part of chivalry. And I think that's in a lot of men's DNA.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that it's not something you even really bring up personally as a guy. I don't know if I'm going with the chivalry, the chivalry thing too. If I'm just old school, but I think that even if the girl set up every single piece of it, as a guy, I think you should go to pick up the tab. They're gonna put the check down on the table. Yeah. I think you go to grab it, and I think you can even emphasize like, I mean, I think you can even emphasize like, no, I got this. Like, you don't have to say it. It would
feel weird.
You can just take it, right? But I do think though, if someone insists after you take the check, if they insist on splitting it, you can say at first like, no, the pleasure's mine. I'd really like this. But if they are insisting, it could be a hint. It could be a hint to a degree, for one. For two, though, I think sometimes you being able to be, operate like a democracy a little bit and be like, oh, okay. Like, I don't mind that either. I wouldn't fight somebody if someone's like, if they're like, I'd like to split it, and you're like, nah, like, I'll take care of it. And they're like, no, I really would. I'm not gonna fight them about it. Like, I'm not
gonna fight you about it. If you're being very adamant about it, I'm not gonna, because then I look crazy. It looks like I'm not letting you do what you want. Or what you want to do. And it's like, okay, if it's in that way, then fine. But yeah, I think that makes perfect sense. I mean, you just got to feel out the vibe. And then remember, if you're the one that, that's actually initiating and making the plans, like if you're making the effort to try to go out with this person, then you should be expected to foot the bill.
Absolutely. I agree there. All right. I think that'll do it for this episode. Thank you guys for tuning in. We had a really, really awesome a live audience commenting on there. I don't think it's because of Gianna. I think they were just going to be in there regardless. But shout out to Gianna for joining us on the podcast today. This podcast runs weekly, so if you liked it and you saw it or you're listening to it in your car, the best thing you can do is just subscribe, whether it's on iTunes, Spotify, or YouTube. That will make sure you don't miss an episode. It's going to be something different every single week. Shit's been pretty good so far, and it's been enjoyable. So, Tane, any last words before we close it out?
Not much, man. Everybody just enjoy the rest of your weeks. Shouts to G. Shouts to the Gen Zers. Right, that's you guys. Yeah, Gen Z. Shouts to you guys. And it's been a good show.
Good stuff.
See you guys around.